Welcome to episode 583 of Salsidoparanormal. And I'm your host, James Salcido. And tonight we are talking about listener experiences again. And so we'll get to that in a moment. Thank you all, as always, for being here. As always, you can find links to all the shows, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page. And that is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or accounts of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy either to read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And as always, thank you for listening to the show, whether it's on the podcast, the Discord, where you hear these streams live, if you join that, or on the podcast or YouTube feeds, or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of the show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. And as always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, for having me on the station and putting all my shows up there. If you'd like to support the show, there are some different ways to do that. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. You can also find books I've written, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, over on Amazon, with one coming up to be released hopefully in the next few months. You can also sign up for the Patreon, and there you'll get 1 extra episode per week of true paranormal stories on the web. Or you can just make one-time donations through PayPal. Support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows and the book series that is coming out along with them over time, such as equipment and research materials and travel expenses in some cases. So I think that covers everything. And so looking forward to the show. And I did mention it was listener experiences, and that is because we have a guest on. So, Ricky, welcome onto the show, and thank you for joining me here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Gonna be fun, I think.
Yeah. So before we get into your experiences, why don't you talk a little bit about your own podcast?
Okay. Yeah, it's called AIP 8.8.I.P. Anything is possible. I try to just do anything is possible, and somebody else already had it, and they only had a few views or something. But so I had to do a little extra adding on there. But I dive into just about a little bit of anything and everything, whatever kind of piques my interest, and so it's lots of different subjects. Sometimes I just talk about just my thought process on certain things, or just what's going on, especially when I first started out, and then I do talk about places and stuff like that, different castles and such like that, and UFOs, aliens, anything and everything, just about a little bit of everything. You can find it on all the major places, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, on YouTube, and of course it's going to be it plays on the Troubled Minds Radio Network also. And so
Yeah.
He asked me to come on, and so I was very thankful, and so I've been trying to stay busy and put him out there he can put him out there. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, definitely glad to be on the network with you. And I've listened to a few of your shows. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to all of them, but I really do. I like your format, and I'm looking forward to listening to more. I just haven't gotten through them all yet, so I apologize for that. But as you know, when you're doing your own thing and then just doing regular life stuff, it's hard to keep up with everybody. So,
but it is.
Yeah. So, well, if you want to start wherever you want to start with your own experiences here tonight, again, thank you for coming on, and go right ahead.
No problem. I mean, we were talking the other day in the chat. It was but I had a flashlight story. We're using a flashlight, and so I figured I was going to start with that one. Years ago, I was I used to work for an asphalt company, and sorry about that. Come on, cat. Come on. Got a 17-pound cat sitting here trying to bulldoze through stuff, but um, we were working night shift, and I had my direct TV box up there so we could kind of watch TV. It was kind of slow. We were just kind of loading trucks, and it was real slow. So me and the loader man was sitting there in the office just watching. We were watching Ghost Hunters actually. So and like one of the original, the first couple seasons or something like that. I forgot what it was, but it's it's been a long time ago, and and we watched it for a little while, and then all of a sudden we started hearing sounds and everything outside, and we had one of the little flashlights up on the counter, and that thing come on its own. And of course, after watching Ghost Hunters, we just both freaked out a little bit, and we went over there and checked it, because nothing was running, so the plant wasn't running, so nothing vibrating or nothing like that, and we actually started try to communicate with it a little bit, and then it actually cut it off and on with our communicating, asking it questions, and we went, like I said, I went and checked it and make sure and put it tight, and it did it again. It was a repeatable offense, so made it feel pretty legit. It was like the only time I ever done anything like that. I for sure ain't gonna do it at my house. I heard Dave Schrader say that you don't do paranormal research at your own house, because you probably don't want to know what you actually have at your house, and it probably scare you if you do find out and you have to move or something.
Yeah, I only did that once with that my friend that was here that one time, and but it was just because it happened already, so it was sort of like, well, it's already going on here. But no, I don't do any kind of investigating in my own place either, because I cannot afford to move out of here. There's just no way. So, yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, I don't like poking a little bear or anything like that, because they, I don't know, I have enough experiences as their own. I've had several. I was sitting here thinking about it and thinking about coming on here tonight, and I'm like, man, I've had a lot of experiences over the years at different places, and like me. Let me see if I got my notes here. I was actually taking notes because I wanted to make sure. Me and my daughter was watching. What we were watching? Where's it at? Oh, on Discovery Plus is a series called "A Ghost Ruined My Life," and I forgot who did it. But I don't know. We were watching that. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we both, in our dreams, both seen the same demon-looking entity in our dreams, both of us, that night. And for mine was really, really weird, because I was dreaming exactly where I was. I was dreaming that I was in my recliner, and this thing's standing beside me and looking at me, and he yells, and I'm like, freak out. I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, it's got to be a dream. And then I popped out that level of the dream, and everything was gray. I was still in my house. Everything was the same. The house was the same, but I popped out of that level of that dream, or whatever I was at, what, and then I come in and everything's kind of gray looking, and it's like, man, it don't seem right. There's loosely some kind of light going on, so it's not, I only got kitchen light or something, something going on.
Right.
And then I finally like, wait a minute. It dawned on me I was still dreaming, and I popped out, and my kitchen lights were bright. Where I just fell asleep, and so that was a pretty freaky one here at the house. I haven't tried to poke that bear or anything like that. I don't want to dig into it because I'm with you. I can't afford to with the housing market and everything else. I can't afford to move either.
Yeah,
I'm good where I'm at.
it is
So
weird how shows will. I don't know. I think it's not quite as common as like the shows themselves want you to think it is. But I had a similar experience. Not that second one, but just the first your first experience there with the flashlight. I had an experience with that with some friends. Um, if you haven't listened back, I did some episodes about all my experiences, and I did one about this training center I went to for people that have low vision or no vision, just for independent living skills. And I went there twice over the years. This last time I went back there, when I got there, there were some people there watching one of the ghost hunting shows, and I just gotten there and I was just trying to relax and got in there, sat down and met some people there, started talking with them, and we started hearing bumps and bangs in the back of the room. And as these shows were on TV, and this is like a big TV/conference room kind of thing. And those of us that could see a little were seeing shadows moving as well in the back of the room while this paranormal investigation show was on TV. And they
wow.
said, "Yeah, we heard that and saw that earlier tonight too." So it's like I think there can be sometimes where you can get some attention from whoever or whatever is there by watching those shows. It's just you never know when it's going to happen. I don't think because I mean I listen to all this kind of stuff all the time, and I don't have stuff going on all the time. So I don't know what it is about certain times, certain cases, but it does happen.
I mean, it could be a process of anything, really. You know, the energy levels at time, or I don't know it, but yeah, it seems that way. Kind of, it might heighten your senses to it too, uh, of being aware of being what's around you. The possibility there too is, you know, your senses are heightened because you're watching this and you're thinking about what's going on in the show, and then all of a sudden you look kind of corner your eye and you see shadows moving in the background, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're it's going on here too. But I thought about that before, like, you know, especially like, um, you know, like you get Zach Baggins or something like that and screaming at demons and stuff, and I'm like, man, now please, I'm just, you know, I'm like, I'm just watching a show, you know. If you're here, you know, leave me. Yeah, it ain't me. Leave me alone. I ain't
He
messing with you. You
seems
don't
to,
mess with me, you know.
yeah, he seems to like to scream at just about everything that
Uh,
you can't see that's near him. I don't know. I can't watch him because of all that. I can't.
he's
But
calmed down now over the years. He still has
ah,
his moments, but he's like, you know, the first 5 seasons, yeah, that was insane. He just screaming at people, attack me, scratch me. I'm like, come on, dude, you're gonna get something you don't want, you know. What that saying is, you can get something that Ajax won't take off, you know.
yeah, that's yeah. No, I saw. I tried a few times and then something would happen and they'd freak out like, oh, something happened. So that's well, yeah, you're
You asked for it.
antagonizing. Exactly.
You
Yeah.
got what you deserve because you asked for it. You wanted claw marks. You wanted your back tore up, you know. And uh, uh no, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. But the dream aspect is always amazing because that seems to come up in so many things as well. As a possible connection to all these things. So I don't doubt that. I feel like it is just a connection to possibly all the realms. As I think we've talked about before in over on Troubled Minds, you know that does seem to be like sort of a nexus to things, and so and you never know what's gonna happen. So
I think so because I've had it. I've had 2 situations that I remember very um, clearly. Like I had my kid's mama. She said she had this entity named Jimmy or James that followed her around. Well, I found out later, and and I sit there and I remember at the house we were living at the time, and y'all ain't gonna start fighting while we're on here now. Uh, we had we had I was sitting there and it was the weirdest thing. I was just laying in bed, just trying to get to the point of going to sleep, and I wasn't asleep yet. I was wide awake, and it truly felt like the whole room got huge. Like everything got thing, and the whole room, the temperature dropped like 25 degrees. It got cold. I covered up, and then I seen James sitting there. I guess that's what uh, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. Yeah, he was trying to like communicate with me, and I'm just like petrified, and absolutely just like, what the world is going on? Because it's like the first time I've ever had that happen before. Just like I said, just all of a sudden, that's kind of like they talk about on shows and stuff like that. It actually really happened to me. The temperature of the room just dropped. It got cold. I'm pulling like the blankets over me, and then I seen that sun gun. I pulled the blanket over my head, and I'm like, I don't even want to. Nope.
Wow.
It's leave me alone. And that day, the next day, I was staying in the same room, and then the next day, actually, when I did go to sleep, he came to me in my dreams and was talking to me. So he figured he couldn't talk to me while I was awake. He actually came to me in my dreams, and it's been so many years. It's been, God, like 15 years or so since that happened. But I remember I was talking to him, and then I asked him, and in our process of talking, and I asked him, I said, "What did you do wrong?" In my mind, it was like, well, what did you do wrong to make you keep in this, like, limbo of you can't cross over? And
Right.
and I asked him that, and he got mad and screamed at me and like slammed his hands on the bed and shook the bed and poofed. He was gone. And I really didn't see him anymore after that. But
Yeah.
but it was a eerie couple days for sure.
Yeah. Just in the chat here, Derek is wanting to know, what was the vibe of the cold? Like a cold energy entering the room, or something sucking the warmth out of the room?
I say sucking the warmth out of the room. Like it just, the whole room just almost instantaneous dropped like 20 degrees. And like I said, I was like, cause I was cool, comfortable. I probably had the house, probably at 70 or something. And all of a sudden I'm grabbing blankets and pulling it up. I'm like, man, I'm getting so cold. And then all of a sudden look at the end of the bed, and there's this thing looking at me. I'm like, oh my God. And I just like a little kid, I didn't know what else to do. And I threw my blanket over my head. And the weird thing is that I swear on everything, it's like that bed expanded and got bigger. It's like I got smaller, just the way it felt. Just like I was this tiny little thing in the middle of that bed, and I just covered myself up. I'm like, nope, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this.
And that is so common. That is so common. And so many accounts you hear about these experiences. DG in the chat says maybe he was just wanting to say goodbye. I don't know. But the
maybe
bed
so.
thing, yeah, and the blanket thing, I mean, that is just really common. And then of course the other thing that's really common is, well, I fell asleep. I don't know how I fell asleep, but I fell asleep. And that's the other thing that I've had to happen myself. And it doesn't make any sense after when you think about it. It's like, why? How could I have fallen asleep with seeing whatever it is you saw, or I saw, but it happens. So yeah, I don't know. That's a wild one though. But the dream aspect definitely makes it seem like it was. I mean, to me, that discounts any kind of hallucination or whatever on your part. If it was like a dream after and there was more going on, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and it's, and just a disclaimer on me, I've never done any kind of drugs or anything like that. No hallucinogens or nothing like that. I used to drink, but I haven't drank in many years, and so it was like there's no stimulants in my body whatsoever. I don't even take pain pills. If I'm hurting, I just kind of take an Epsom salt bath or something like that and soak. That's about it. That's all I do, just kind of push through, because I don't want to get hooked on anything. I gotta kind of addictive
Yeah.
personality. So if I, I'm just get used to it, I'll keep doing it. And that's why, when I was drinking, I just kept on and on. So I know myself. And so okay, I can't handle this kind of stuff. I can't handle this kind of stuff. So I just don't even put
Right.
myself in a situation to cause problems.
Yep. Yeah. I try to take. I mean, I have deal with my eyes and my head hurting every day, but so I don't take any medicine unless it's just absolutely killing me. Because if I took it every time I had pain, it'd be every day, you know, and I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
going to do that. Derek in the chat says that seems, I guess, regarding the blanket thing and the sleep thing, that seems like our natural defense mechanism almost. If the phenomena is potentially feeding off our attention or the interaction, maybe covering your eyes and saying nope is the key stopping the exchange. Yeah, seems like that does happen, and it does stop it most of the time. But then you get accounts of people having experiences where they pull down the blanket and whatever is there is still there. So, but yeah,
It took a little bit for him to find, everything was still there. I'm like, I sit there for a few minutes, but I don't, like I said, it's been like 15 years or more since that happened, um, but but finally it subsided. It went away. It was
yeah,
a freaky situation for sure.
yeah, that sounds like it. I just wonder. Yeah, Derek says, or the spirit that Derek DG. I was looking up too far. DG says, or the spirit pulls the blanket off. Yeah, there's been that accounts of that too.
If
So,
he'd done that, I've been gone. Yeah, they could have had the house and everything else.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I was just renting the
Well, if you
house
want to
in
move
too. I can move.
on, yeah. Well, going on through your notes there, let's see what's next.
Um, just like I said, just I was thinking the paranormal stories. Um, let's see. I said the one. Oh, day I think on. I don't know, but I did. There's a national cemetery here in Memphis, and me and some friends were riding around. And how I got on the backside of it, I have no idea. But it's been there for a long, long time. It's been there since like 1700, something like that. I was like, I don't think you can't even. It's full already, so you can't even put nobody gets buried there anymore. But it's been there a long time, and um, somehow I got on the backside of it, and going down the road, and all of a sudden my car cut off, just boom. Like, what in the world? And I turn and look, and again I was sober, as can be. I look, and there's orbs just flying through this cemetery, just all over the place. And I look at my friend, and we're like, eh. And then we look down the end of the road, and there's like this car just sitting there with the headlights on, just looking at me, like just way down the road, but it wouldn't move. And I'm like, I just said a little prayer and tapped my car on the dash, like, come on, let's get out of
Yeah,
here. It ain't time. This ain't the time for this. And it cranked up, and I spun that car around and got out of there. It disappeared. But I have seen how many orbs, and there wasn't no lights out there. Of course, there's lights like in Memphis, something like that, but like in the cemetery, there wasn't any lights, and you could just see them kind of floating through there, and it was a lot of it's quite a bit of energy, I guess, over there. Which like I said, it's old cemetery, so people been being buried there for many years, and it was a for sure freaky situation. I said that's the only time I've had that happen to me before, but I have had that where it just, like I said, my car just cut off. Like you hear stories about that all the time, and
yeah,
but it actually happened to me. My car cut off, and it wouldn't crank, and like I said, I was sitting there and come on, let's go. Like I said,
it is.
I don't try to mess with the paranormal. I'm interested in it, and I really am I like hearing the history and stuff like that, but like actual like going out and poking the bear, I'm not going to do that. They don't mess with me, I don't mess with them kind of deal.
Yeah, I will only go out on like I've done a few of those public investigations with a group of paranormal investigators. I've done that a few times over the years, and I feel like that's maybe the best bet if you can somehow look into whoever you're going with and like sort of find out like their reputation online, you know. And if they seem like they're a good one and then they have like the best of intentions, then I think it's worth it. But like on my own, no, I don't go out and do that kind of stuff.
No,
I want to
I
go
don't
with
blame you.
people that are kind of, they're they've been doing that particular thing for how many ever years, and they sort of have their practices of like sort of preparing and setting up their own barriers, whether it's through prayers or visualizations, whatever. I'd rather go with people that kind of have that already that method already in place, and I've enjoyed those even without anything happening because you get to hear about the history of a location and actually be
Yeah.
there and check it out. Those are great, but yeah, I don't. I would never want to go out to a. I mean, I there's times I have wanted to, but in general, when I'm thinking straight, I don't want to go out to places on my own and just
I
check
understand.
them out.
Yeah, I was up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, a while back, and they got ghost hunts and stuff like that. Ghost tours, actually, what they say call it. And for the ones that don't know about Hot Springs, Arkansas, it's up in the mountains. Um, a lot of it is built by the mob. They had bathhouses and stuff up there. They got a bunch of natural springs up there, natural hot springs up there. Um, and so they had all kinds of bathhouses and stuff, and like they got some of them like built like Roman bathhouses, and it's pretty neat. It's a beautiful country. It's beautiful. Like if you get a chance to go there, it's a very cool place. Um, the Arlington the Arlington Hotel is supposed to be haunted out this world.
Mm,
I went to I stayed I got a hotel like farther down the road. Like I was in Hot Springs, but I was like in like the newer version side of it, and this lady just started talking to me, and she was telling me which I just have one of them personalities too. Like just people just talk to me and just just like I'm their best friend, and which is sometimes is nice. I get to hear stuff that most probably other people don't. But she just started talking to me, and she was telling me about her boyfriend, like seeing a bunch of stuff, working security there at the Arlington, and then she was talking me about one of them Disney shows she was fussing about because it was they were doing witchcraft, and she was like, you're looking at it and like they had 3 points of the circle, whatever, with these three people, and then you figured out that you were the fourth point. And she said, once I figured that out, I turned the TV off. I said, I understand. But it's an amazing place up there in Hot Springs. It's like I said, if you happen to be in the area, it's a cool place to hit. And like I said, they got all them old bathhouses and lots of history down there. But they do have a bunch of ghost tours and stuff because of the mob and stuff. There's a lot of and you got the water underneath there flowing, which like I said, everybody getting that energy to the area, and then you got the
yep.
bloodshed. It just is just a good mix of paranormal for sure.
Yeah, Derek in the chat says mystical source waters. Yep, and
They have one right down the road actually that's like is a Three Springs, and they got where they were like each one did something different where it healed your body and stuff like that. And you could actually put your bottle there and get the water out of it. I did one spring. It was like three spots coming out of the rock right there, and you could put your bottle in there, and okay, this bottle you get, it helped this thing, and this one over here helped this list of stuff. They had it listed on the sign and everything. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and yeah, the ghost tour thing that is definitely that's getting more and more popular these days. I think without the everything that happened in 2020, I think that would probably even be even more popular. But I just wanted to point out too that those investigations I went on, the other reason I went on them is because they would sell tickets to them, but all the money would go towards the place that we were investigating, so that would go towards the renovations and the preservation of the location there.
Man, that's awesome.
To
That's good.
so yeah, so I feel like if you can find something like that where even if you pay money, as long as it's going towards the place, then I don't mind so much doing that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, looking at the chat here, DG says Hot Springs. The haunted place I want to go to is right by Hot Springs in British Columbia. Wow, yeah. Matt Saul says there are ghost walks in most towns. Yep, I went on them in Portland too.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they like you said, they're getting popular, and especially the ones that trying to help renovate. It's pretty cool. I don't know.
yes,
I'm concerned for myself, or I'm kind of sensitive. I sense a lot of things, and I don't know. I feel like I'm pulling in. I don't want to pull in some wrong energy.
right,
Yeah, like I said, uh, just a little paranoia on my own side. Like I said, I love hearing about it, and I'll send
oh
money
yeah,
to them to help for the buildings and stuff. I don't hate seeing them when they tear down old buildings and historic stuff. It's just breaks my heart because it's just this losing history. And then you got this amazing, beautiful 1800 built building or something, and then they destroy and put a parking lot there. It's
yep,
like come on, there's got to be a better way. But
yeah, definitely, yeah. It's no the yeah the first time I went on one of those investigations, I did notice I didn't have anything bad happen, but I noticed when I got home that night, I think there was some energy transfer going on there because I was just tired and I was thirsty for water. Like, I must have drank so much water once I got home that night. I don't know why. I was just really thirsty.
they
But
were
that didn't
probably
happen
trying to
again.
they were probably trying
Yeah.
to pull, use you to materialize. They might not have been able to, but they might have been using you to channel through and was, I always said that stuff like that. That's what scares me. Uh, you know, and how much,
Well,
and I sure don't want to bring nothing home with me. I got enough.
yeah.
I already think I got a friend running around here as it is. I don't need any more. But
Yeah. No, and I'll just say real quick, I after that I did start just constantly putting out there, I'm here as a friend. I'm as long as you don't mean any harm, I'm happy to meet you all. Just kind of positive thoughts and just like, but also putting up a shield kind of thing in my own mind. And I noticed once I did that, the next few that I went on, I didn't have that happen again. So I think I just went in there the first time like with, no defenses set up, and that's what happened. You know,
yeah, I I
and
hear.
after that, better.
Yeah, I heard. Uh, Cindy Cazas say that before. If you gotta watch if you're especially if you're sensitive, um, you had to go. You had to be. You gotta know how to put up the walls and stuff like that, or not.
Yeah.
You're gonna absorb something that you don't want to have. And um, I like Cindy Cazas. The first time I seen her was on I know he said something like Dave Schrader on the Holzer Files. Have you ever seen the Holzer Files?
I feel like I've heard them. I listened to maybe an episode once here or there. Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's
Yep.
they did 2 seasons of it. I actually I watched them like 3, 4 times. I watched it through, and then my daughter came. I said, "Man, you gotta watch this series." And I watched it through again with her, and I probably watched it 2 or 3 more times. It's I like it. It's a Franz Holzer was kind of one of the original um, Dr. Hans, I said France, Hans Holzer was one of the original ghost hunters,
Right.
and so they actually opened up. They got his daughter is trying to look into some of his old files, and so they bring on like a team, and they actually uh, open up his old files and go back to the same places and see if there's still like paranormal there or not. And it's pretty neat. It's neat hearing about the old files and hearing the old recordings of Holzer talking to the people and talking and through his mediums and stuff like that, hearing them talk, and it's interesting. And it's not
Yeah,
like
he's
it's not like
yeah,
Zach Baggins screaming at people either. It's
right.
it's none of that. You know, Dave
Yeah,
Schrader's a
he's
little
someone I
calmer.
need to look into. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people are a lot calmer, but
Yeah.
I need to look into Holzer, his work more. It's one thing I want to do at some point. So that's definitely on the agenda. But yeah, well, if there's any other experiences you want to talk about, you're welcome to, or we can end it here and you can come back on some other time. It's up to you.
I just I got two more. If you got
Okay.
time, or is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I got two more we can talk about. One I said on the other thing. One I haven't really said it to a whole bunch of people. I won't say that one for. I guess I'm now looking back as an adult. I don't know what in the blue world it was. When I was a kid, I took it was an angel in my room talking to me. Now
Mm.
looking back, I don't know what in the world I was talking to, but there was, um, it was a being, um, came in my bedroom, and it was a being sitting there. It was like, um, I don't know. It was a human, like just a stocky human size, like 6'2", 6'3", I guess, and um, it was, and I don't, of course, that was 30 something years ago now, but it was or more than that. God, no, I'll be 45 this year, so let's see. I'll probably 8, I guess, or something 9. But
Mm.
and but yeah, I had a being come in, and I said, and when I was a kid, of course, I went to Christian school, um and so I very very biblical learning, and I'm rusty as
Right.
can be now, but and now I've added lots of other stuff, like religions and understanding other ones and stuff. I had a big discussion. I know I'm going ADD a little bit, but I had a discussion with some Mormons the other day. They come over into my house, out to my door, and I heard a knock on the door. I'm like, man, who's on my front door? Because everybody uses my side door, and I was like, man, who in the world is at my front door? And I looked out, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And I talked to him. Then we had a good discussion. We had a good religion discussion, and I actually, like, one of the guys was like, what I was saying was just kind of, he was understanding what I was saying and really like picking it up. So it's kind of neat. Um, but I took it as an angel. But I mean, and now looking back, I mean, was it an angel? Um, was it alien? Was it ghost? I don't know. I know he was very tall and big. Of course, I was little, so everybody was tall and big to me.
Right.
But he kind of had that glow energy of him. I remember that, and I to this day I don't remember what he was communicating with me about, but I just remember that I was wide
Yeah.
awake and I wasn't asleep. I was just sitting here. I just remember seeing him, and it was kind of it's like wow. It's and like I said like I said earlier in the show, I was like, man, I've had a lot of experiences over the years. Uh, it's amazing, being able to, in full circle, actually, I get to tell stories and tell these back, and put on my podcast, and like today, be able to come on yours and tell these stories. It's pretty neat, and but yeah, that one there was like I said, I really hadn't told a whole lot of people on that one. But like I said, I'm not sure to this day. I don't know what it was now. Was it an angel come down there and talking to me and hanging out, or was it an alien looking like one, or was it a spirit of my, you know, family?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It was it was. There's nothing negative. I see Derek saying something. Say, could be real. Like it was nothing negative. It was a positive. I remember that everything was. It wasn't nothing gloom doom. I just don't remember
Right.
what it was said. Um, I said it was.
Well, that's hard. When so many years pass, I know myself that's hard.
Yeah,
Um,
like I said, it's 35 years now. Looking at it, probably somewhere in
yeah.
there. Uh, maybe more, but that was one of the ones that was pretty wild to me. I seen that. About the same age, I did see. I seen a UFO one day on the way home. I don't know what in the world that was either. So it was.
I-
That's why I say it's a UFO because it's unidentified. But
right.
it was a clear sky, but all I could see was this one cloud. It was like I was looking out the window and we were almost back home, and I was riding with my grandfather, and I looked out the window just, you know, uh, because way back then it was, I was probably 8, 9 years old then, and you had nothing to do really, especially when it was dark. You didn't have phones or none of that good stuff. And I was looking out the window and there's this cloud, and it looks like lightning and stuff was inside the cloud. It was blinking and like it, and I've tried to look up like definitions. I've Google searched it every which way I could think of, trying to figure out like what in the God's green earth that was. But it was a large cloud looking. But I couldn't see like it was if it was a UFO like an actual ship. I couldn't see the ship, but it was in a cloud. But it was like lightning inside the cloud, but the lightning wasn't coming out. It was just, but it looked like lightning was firing inside that cloud and everything. It was really, uh, um, it was one of them another one. So from when I was a little kid that I just have no idea. It was like between that and the angel or whatever is just them two from when I was a kid. And a lot of my memories from when I was little, I don't really remember, but those two there have stuck with me for like I said, for 35 plus years. Yes, some freaky situations or experiences, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
The cloud thing that has popped up over the years too, where people see UFOs or things coming and going from clouds. So I mean, and then being in clouds. So I don't doubt that could have been something like that was in the cloud that was just there. And I mean, giving off energy, transferring energy. Who knows how that was working? But yeah, that is wild. That's
and
yeah,
with it
I don't
being the
know.
only cloud in the sky, like it being a cloudy day, it
Yes.
wouldn't even phase me. But because it was the only thing that was in the sky, and it wasn't way up in the sky, it was kind of thinking probably a couple hundred yards up. It wasn't much higher than the trees that I could see up on the hill. Like there was a hill, it was flat where I was at, and it went up a hill, and where it was kind of was at, it was kind of right above the trees right there. So, uh, if I just had to guess, knowing the area, probably about 150 yards up in the air, it was sitting there.
Then it's funny too. You hear about that where they're trying to hide. Whoever or whatever is up in the air tries to hide, but they do things that reveal themselves. Like, oh, we're gonna appear as a cloud. Well, that's great, except if you appear in the sky as a cloud and there's no other clouds, then that's not really hiding. It's you're drawing attention to yourself. Okay, here in the chat here, and that's amazing. Derek in the chat says, if I can talk, that is literally the movie Nope. The UFO camouflaging itself, and it's the only cloud. Wow. I almost mentioned Nope earlier when Ricky said Nope in the earlier story. Yeah, that's amazing though.
I've
Here
never
again,
seen
you
that. That's
have
pretty.
similarities.
Oh wow, I've never
Yeah,
seen that. That's pretty wild. Yeah, that
it
is pretty
is.
wild.
It's funny how that works, and you just have to wonder when people make all these movies and TV shows, have they looked into things before, the reports of things, or have they had experiences, or do they know people that have had experiences,
Oh
or do the ideas just come to them and they don't even realize that they're making a movie about something that maybe someone else saw already?
yeah. On on a whole nother level of what if maybe juice. Who is feeding their brain with that idea of that thing. Like something
Yep.
could be like, hey, I want this out here, so let me, you know, using
Yeah.
like a using the mind tricks, kind of telekinesis or something, and using it. Like my podcast says, anything's possible. I really do believe that. I mean, it's yeah. I won't rule out anything. Some things sound really off the wall, but you look over through history, and there was times like, man, that was crazy. There's no way that happened, like that. And then we find out, years later that that's how it did happen. Um, um, so it's one of them things that, a lot of times over time it actually gets proved correctly. But at the time everybody scoffed at it. So it's I look at it, it's like anything is possible if it, to a point. It it really is.
Yeah. Derek in the chat says, I think these pop culture pillars help us to process the phenomena sometimes. I've referenced Nope so many times since it came out. It connects to so much stuff. Yeah, I feel like it just comes out in the art sometimes. Humanity trying to make sense of it. Yeah, yeah, really cool. Definitely. I've talked about that recently with my own. Everything that's been going on over the last few years. It sort of, I don't know. It got me thinking about like what would happen if there was any kind of a major event that. So I've mentioned this before. I'll just say it again real quick. I've been writing since I was a teenager, fiction a lot, mostly fiction, but now more recently getting into nonfiction. But I had this idea for a story a few years ago, about something coming down from the sky, and it looks just like a glitch on sensors, like on like an energy field that's just coming down, and that's all it looks like, some weird mass of heat or energy. And as it comes down to the surface of Earth, like a far future version of Earth, it starts to break down all of the veils between all the different levels or dimensions of reality, and how crazy that would be. And if you look at more and more of reports of things these days, it's not that happening exactly, but there's just more and more attention that is being paid to these kinds of things, or at least it seems that way sometimes. And I just wonder, like, do I want to finish this book? Do I want to make this book and put it out there? Because is that going to like trigger the actual similar event to happen? And I don't really know about that. I doubt it in a way, but also in other times it's like, I don't know. Maybe this book will just stay unfinished for a while. But anyway, just a tangent
The
there.
power of the word, speaking into existence, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. But those are some amazing experiences. And I agree with you that the entity that you saw, I can totally understand that you hear that so much, or people, they've been sort of brought up and thinking in one way, and they see something and that it fits into, or they fit it into
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge or the system that they've been brought up in. But then you go back years later after you've acquired more knowledge, and it's like, well, maybe it was that, maybe it was not that, maybe it was something else. And I agree, it's hard to say. I've talked about this over the years too with that. I think the labels are not as important as how the experiences make you feel. If they're positive, then just go with it. If they're negative, then just stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so. Anyway, that's sort of my take on all that. But yeah, amazing stuff as always. I've listened to your shows, like I said, and love that. And I'm glad that you're able to come on tonight and talk about these experiences You've had.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I've, I'm sure there's some more I've had over the years, but yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time to come on here and talk, and thanks for listening too. Yeah, um, like I was saying on Trouble Minds the other night, my goal for it is, if I can. When I first started doing it, I didn't even post it. It was on Spotify. If you look for it, you'd find it, but nobody was looking for it because I wasn't trying to share it, nothing. But it was kind of like, if you listen to the first couple of episodes, just kind of me working through some stuff through my own personal stuff, really. And then as I grew and figured stuff out, I'm like, okay, I like doing this. This is cool. And then I started adding more and more to it, and then I actually like start buying stuff. I bought microphones and stuff like that, and lights, and before I can actually do video, um and my goal is just to make sure, if something I said, like especially on the personal side stuff, if it helps one person, then what I'm doing is worth it, because that's, that you always hear, you know even if I only help one person, but that one person could go and turn around and help 1,000 people, it's just because of their reach. Um,
Yep.
and then magnify that. But it all started with what I did, um, and like I said, so it's, to me, it's worth it to put in the time and effort, and plus like I said, I'm enjoying it, and then enjoying the social everything with like everybody here, like on the Discord and on Trouble Minds, and um, after all this time, it's kind of like another family, where you get to talk and chat every day. It's pretty cool, and we're all kind of on the same open mind, and we all have our views on certain things. We all have our own skew of things, but in the large gist of stuff, we are all really open minded on things of um, we don't have our blinders completely on. We are actually trying to see the full picture, and so many people are just got their blinders on and don't want to see just want to see what they want to see, and that's, you don't make progress that way. That's the only way you're looking at things. But
Yeah. Well, if you're welcome to keep going if you want to. I just don't want to keep you all night. But
I'm
um,
good. I said only other one I really was thinking about tonight was the one where I was riding my bike to work, and I think I told you on the Trouble Minds the other day. Um, I don't know if all the days are kind of blending together,
oh
but
yeah, definitely.
uh, but I was heading. I was like, I I had lived in Memphis for a while, and then they kicked me out of our apartment because they want to renovate it and make it up nice and charge us 3 times as much. Once they did call me like, come on back, and I'm like, no, my car got broken into 7 times. I haven't done nothing for that. Uh, Now
Yeah.
you want me to pay 3 times as much for my rent for this 320 square foot apartment, which I had, like, it was not like, it was okay for, I paid $350 a month and like $40 a month for the utilities. So it was cheap,
Right.
and, but when they wanted to kick me out and try me like triple, I'm like, ah. So I moved out to the country, uh, and, uh, and I said, well, I'm gonna ride my bike to work one day. And because I was so used to I lived kind of like a midtownish area in Memphis, and I'd rode my bike everywhere. I rode to the Mexican restaurant. I rode to Dunkin' Donuts. I rode it to the river. On the weekends, I'd ride 40, 50 miles on it.
Wow.
And, I got some of the best shape I've ever been in, like just cardio wise, you know. And but I decided, well, I'm gonna ride to work. I rode on to ride along, and I forgot all about this damn cemetery on this little. Is this a little small one too? And I forgot all about it. But it was hot, and like soon as I came up on that cemetery, it was just like in that on my bedroom that time. The temperature dropped as soon as I got over there by it, and I'm like, and I looked over and I seen it. I'm like, damn. And I stood up on, usually I'm riding my bike because I ride a lot of miles. I'd sit on the seat and I just kind of pedal and because I'm long distance riding, dude, I stood up on it and pedaled as hard as I could. Got out of there. But that was the 2 times in my life that, between that and the time in the bedroom that the actual like temperature just dropped so much. And I'm like, at that time I didn't stick around to see what was about to happen. So I got out of there, and I was like, well, that's the end of riding my bike to work. I'll get back in my car and drive a car every day. But I had to think of it, and I probably got some more, but that's all I have tonight on stories for sure. But hopefully everybody enjoyed them and here.
Oh, definitely. And you're welcome back anytime if you want to come back on and share more. You're welcome. I mean, we had Jeff on a second time last week, so this has been great. 2 listener experiences shows in 2 weeks. That's fine by me. So yeah, you're welcome back, and thank you again for joining me and for doing your own show. And if you ever want to hear a ton of my experiences, it's one of those things I never get tired of talking about them. I'd be happy to join you on one of your shows as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I didn't get to really do that a whole lot. I've done a couple times where I've got to talk to somebody else, and I think I think I do best. Hopefully, I'm still on because my computer's just.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
I sat here so long it actually started to go sleep mode.
Yeah.
I see. But yeah, I've only got to do it a few times, and so. But me personally, I think I do better when I get to talk to somebody. I kind of feed off somebody and back and forth. I think I do better, but I guess I do pretty good too by myself. As long as I'm knowledgeable on the subject, I kind of spit stuff out pretty easily. But because a lot of my shows, tonight I had notes because usually on mine, about 50% I do notes, or I'll have a bunch of tabs up on my screen, and I'll be just going through tabs and trying to pop stuff out of my head and what I remember reading and stuff. So it's one of my bad habits. I like using my brain, but
yeah, you're good and love your show. And that'd be great. And well, thank you again. Happy to have you on some other time. And I'll let you mute up and head out. And I will talk to you. We'll see each other around on Discord as we always do. So
yes, sir.
Have a great night.
Thank you,
Thanks
James.
again.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you. So that is it for tonight, everyone. Thank you all for being here and sticking around and listening in and all the chat, all the great chat. And that's going to do it for this episode of Salsidoparanormal. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you all next time. Have a great night as I scroll up to get to the thing to stop the recording. There we go. All right, everyone, take care.